Are an Aquarius or have Aquarius rising in your horoscope, this is your 2026 astrology overview video. The year 2026 is brimming with possibilities for personal development and growth, relationship happenings, as well as a lot of exciting and new developments as well. So I'm pretty excited for your year ahead. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing some of the major highlights, planetary movements, and hopefully you'll come away with bit of an attitude of excitement like I've got for you. So, February 17 sees a special kind of new moon in Aquarius or your first house. The reason this new moon is special is because it's an eclipse. So, this new moon happens in Aquarius, even though the nodes will still be in their former signs of Pisces and Virgo. The reason why this eclipse is kind of special, in my opinion, is that this is going to give you a bit of an insight or a preview to an 18 month to 2 year period that's going to start on the 27th of July. Now, that is going to be when the North Node moves into your sign. So, for those 18 months from July 27, you can expect this period of time to be really about pushing yourself forward, getting a little bit more clear about your goals, your personal desires, your ambitions, and maybe what you want to do with yourself. Keep in mind that Pluto is also in your sign, and this is going to be, at this point, it's a 20-year cycle. And even though the North Node and Pluto don't actually connect in 2026, it's certainly going to bring some momentum for fast-paced change and transformation and put some of those Pluto processes on fast forward. So I think that's something to definitely look forward to. So I would say, as far as February is concerned, do kind of tune into your spidey senses a little bit. Take note of any happenings, any events, or any inklings that give you a little bit of a window or a preview into future possibilities for yourself. Now, as far as our career, your professional life, and the overall direction your life is heading in, Venus is going to spend a extra long period of time in Scorpio and your 10th house. And so this could pertain particularly to your career, your overall life direction, what you do for work, how you're seen in the world, and those types of things as well. So for some, it's going to be the career. For others, it's just going to be, okay, what direction do I really want to be steering in my life? And what do I do for work? Is that reflective of that? Venus retrograde cycles tend to be deeply personal. So for you, it's going to be, does my career satisfy me? Does it excite me in any way? Do I actually want what I'm doing? So there's going to be this period of reassessments, of upgrading, and figuring out, does what I do with my life day to day, how am I seen in the world, the overall direction, the big picture, does that satisfy me at all? So you're going to have some periods to really think about that and figure things out. So she will come into that space from December 10 through to the 3rd of October. This is going to be a time when it comes to your job, your profession, what you're known for, is to sort of be seen in your best light and be seen by those who count. Making good impressions, maybe dressing a little better, going the extra mile to be social at work. The reverse phase isn't an entire retrograde phase in your 10th because Venus will back in partially to Libra as well. So it's actually a shorter than usual retrograde phase. And that period of time is from the 3rd to the 25th of October. Now, this will be the time that you might be wrangling with your direction the most, where you might feel a little bit meh, for a technical term, in terms of where you're going and what you want in terms of the life direction. So this might be a time to just kind of keep your cards close to your chest, think about the things that you really desire in this part of your life, and also consider how your career, your life direction has shifted and changed over the last 8 years. Venus retrograde cycles are quite predictable. So she has retrograded in this area of your life 8 years ago, and she will do again 8 years from now. So you can sort of track these cycles a little bit in terms of 8 year increments, in terms of your overall life direction and career path. So it might be time to just do a little bit of upgrading and maybe going for something a little bit better or more aligned with you. At the same time, you are also, just as Venus exits Scorpio, Mercury will be retrograding. So that will also give you a period of time to do some logistical things around that area of life. This might be putting out your feelers. Is there another role or another company, another job I can do? That retrograde period will be from the 24th of October to the 14th of November. So when Mercury retrogrades, this might be the time to attend interviews, put your resume out there, see what else is available, even maybe some networking. I do think that the combination of Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde in your career zone, it would also be wise to keep in mind loose lips sink ships. So maybe if you are making moves or if you're wanting to change things, keep your cards close to your chest until you decide exactly what it is that you want or you have nabbed the job that you would like. Now, in terms of money, cash flow, and finances, it's pretty exciting because you're going to have two longer running cycles winding up in the earlier part of the year. So Neptune has been an influence since 2011. That's going to be gone by January 26, 27. And then Saturn, your ruling planet, will follow suit on the 14th of February. And those two planets are not coming back anytime soon. So, for instance, Saturn won't come back for another 30 years, and Neptune, I don't know, 165 or something like that. So, essentially, you've got these two combinations of planets that have might have made money a little funky for a while, or maybe you've had a bit of a dry spell. Sometimes Saturn can make money feel a little thin on the ground, whether that is the reality. It's been maybe a little harder to make ends meet, or maybe you've just been siphoning extra cash through savings, debt reduction, so on and so forth. So the fact that those planets that have been there for a considerable amount of time, especially Neptune and Saturn since March of 2023, this is going to tell you that by early, we're talking about the first 6 weeks of the year, they're going to be gone. And then you can start to expect money, cash flow, confidence, attracting abundance into your life will start to run on regular programming again. So that's pretty good news. So Mercury retrograde will be there as well. And so you are going to have that period from February 7 to April 15. So there will be a longer than usual Mercury in Pisces tour, and that will include that retrograde cycle. So Mercury will enter on the 7th, and by that stage, you've only got a week left of Saturn. So I think this long period of Mercury in your second house is going to help you get money back to regular programming and to figure things out now that Neptune's gone, now that Saturn's gone. How did you fare under the Saturn transit? Saturn in your second house for the past year, 2 years rather, might have asked you to step up to the plate and take a more adulting or a mature approach to money. And so, how did you do? This might be a good time to do a bit of a post-cosmic report card assessment on your finances. How did you fare under that phase? Was it really difficult, or did you make some really positive inroads and take that disciplined approach with Saturn? So once you figure all of that out, you might start to get back in touch with how money just flows for you on the regular. And then that way you can start to maybe set up new logistical systems, set up new budgets, spreadsheets, whatever, just reassess how you're spending money, how you're earning money. Do you need to be earning more? Do you need to slash expenses? Do you need to do a combination of both? So just be a really good look to take a look at your numbers in that period of time, early Feb to mid-April, and that's just going to help you move forward. As they say, when it comes to money, you can't measure what you don't manage. And you have had 2 years of learning to manage it. So hopefully you've learned those lessons and you can get things back on regular programming. Now, you'll also have the influence of Mars coming through the second house. So that will be helpful between March 3 and April 10. So that will overlay somewhat with the Mercury retrograde cycle as well. But Mars coming through for the first time in 2 years, this is going to help you set new money goals for the next 2 years. It's going to bring some movement, some agitation, a bit of confidence and fire back to your money sector, particularly if you have had a bit of a sobering experience financially over the last couple of years. This is kind of I know we say this in Australia. I'm not sure about other countries, but it's kind of time to pick your socks up and get back on the wagon, on the horse, so to speak, and get back to just driving the motivation, the ambition to try and get that cash flow rolling in the way that you may want or you may need. Now, your home environment is also shifting in 2026. So until April 2026, April, I say this wrong every time, April 26th of 2026, Uranus is going to be leaving your fourth house of home, family, domestic life for good, not to return for about 84 years. So essentially, you've got the first 4 to 5 months of 2026 to continue to make these adjustments in your home life to reflect the life that you really want to be living. If you're living in a circumstance that just isn't working for you, Uranus is going to rattle that domestic cage and ask you to bring forward authentic, unique, different types of living situations. So, say, for example, maybe you are sharing a house with friends or flatmates, and maybe you don't want to do that anymore. Maybe you want to move to a location that better reflects your changing needs or your changing desires. Maybe it's the domestic dynamics and the family relationships. Maybe you're wanting to make changes in that regard. Whatever it is that is your ideal living situation, you've got that first chunk of the year to start making inroads about that. Now, Venus will also arrive between the 31st of March and the 24th of April. Now, Venus is your personal family planet because Taurus is the sign that rules family life for you. So, this might be an idea to maybe even just make some cosmetic adjustments around the home. Venus likes nice things and pretty things. And as she comes through your home space, you'll be surprised that's a good time of year to just make some, I don't know, buy some flowers, new couch cushions, scented candles, whatever the case may be. You might, if you've got a green thumb, a nice plant, whatever it is, that's just a nice time to sprinkle a little Venus goodness in the home situation. It could also be a great time from the family relationships. Venus is a relationship-oriented planet. And so, if you need to make some inroads, make some changes around those kind of domestic dynamics, Venus will help you do that. Um, as she moves through Taurus, she is going to exit Uranus out. So they're going to make a final conjunction forever, at least for 80 years, at 29 degrees of Taurus. So it really does have this last hurrah vibe to it, this last opportunity. You might get some sudden yet welcome news around the home or some nice changes in the dynamic. So that's kind of positive. Then, of course, Mars will push through there from 19th of May to June 29. What's going to be helpful for you in that tour is that that's going to be sans Uranus. So it's just going to be back to that sense of regular programming in this part of your life. Mars gets a smooth passage, no bumps from Uranus, and the action that you have been wanting to take for some time may be easier to make happen. Relationships are huge in 2026 and into 2027. So it's essentially the second half of 2026 where relationships really start to take on a new tone for you. Firstly, Jupiter moves into Leo and your seventh house of relationships from June 30, spending a year in that sign. July 27, so just 3 and a bit weeks later, it's 3 to 4 weeks later, you're going to get the south node of the moon move through that part of the sky as well for a period of 18 months. So essentially, almost the entirety of your Jupiter cycle, which is about abundance, which is about expansion, is going to be somewhat reduced or minimized by the south node in Leo. Now, that doesn't have to be the case, even though on paper it probably reads like that for most people. So, Jupiter is going to bring an increased activity, growth, and expansion, that radiant solar sun ruled Jupiter into your seventh house of partnership. So, this is a once in every 12-year event. So, it's safe to say that the second half of 2026 into the first half of 2027 is a very ripe period for new relationships if you're single, to enjoy more of the good life if you are already partnered. You might find someone that you're more interested in being together with for a longer time. So if you're in this sort of casual situationships, but maybe Jupiter will bring in someone a little bit more substantial that you have a bit more of a long-term outlook for. If you are already partnered, as I said, this can be a time where you shine your light into that relationship, elevate it, enjoy more experiences together, do more things together, and the quality experiences, especially a little bit of luxury as well. Jupiter in your seventh house can not always be about romantic connections, neither. It can also be about somebody who has some kind of wisdom, experience, sagely influences that can be a person of support or kind of put the wind under your wings a little bit and help you. So it might be someone that comes into your life, has the right resources, the right wisdom, the right knowledge, intel, whatever the case may be, to help you with a solution with a problem. Might be a coach, a mentor, a really good accountant. It could be a whole bunch of things. So it may not always pertain to a more of a romantic or partnership situation. Now, the whole idea of the sage, the wisdom, the mentor can be even more amplified with the presence of the South Node. Now, the South Node, as I said, has a little bit more of a slightly reductive or a minimalist approach to it. That is, if you just adopt the Western version of the meaning of the nodes. In the Vedic traditions, the South Node is actually very spiritual, and it's actually seen to be as more of the benefic of the two nodes. So, this combination of the South Node and Jupiter and this spiritualization process that you're going to be going through, you're probably, if you're single, you're probably not going to want to have a time killing relationship or a filler. You're going to want somebody who really speaks to the essence of who you are, speaks to the essence of what kind of relationship you want. But of course, it's up to you to define what that is and to know what that is. This could be bring up about a slow burn situation as opposed to crash and burn situations. If you are partnered and already in a relationship, this may help see the two of you come together over a situation or try and establish a sense of meaning and connection in your partnership that might just be a little beyond um, the daily functionings of a household, for instance, or the regular routines and rhythms you already have. So, this could be a really good time to, hey, let's book a holiday together. Let's book a luxury experience. Maybe we want to dabble in something religious, spiritual, philosophical together. Having those shared interests can help expand the experience for the both of you. So there's a lot of possibility and yeah, a lot of possibility there for you with Jupiter and the South Node. So if you are looking at and thinking that it could be a bit of a buzzkill, I don't think it necessarily has to be. Happiness and joy and fun and all of that sort of thing is definitely set to change quite dramatically for you when Uranus settles back into Gemini from late April, about the 26th. You did get a preview of that in 2025. July through to November, and then dip back into Taurus and now back into your fifth house. So when you think about this, like what does your life look like when all the obligations are taken care of? when the bills are paid, the jobs are done, and what are you doing with your free time? Do you even have free time? That might be the more pressing question for some Aquarius risings. The fifth house is about kids, it's about joy, it's about fun, laughter, creating memories. Sometimes we get so caught in the sort of survival of life, the achievements, the external stuff. Sometimes we forget to just enjoy it. Um, when we're older, sometimes it's very easy to forget to have fun, or we're always thinking about the next thing we have to do. So, Uranus here is going to help awaken this within you, maybe awaken an inner child, awaken a desire to have a child of your own. Maybe if you have children already, it's their life that becomes a little bit erratic or full of surprises, changes, and things of that nature. So, Uranus is going to invite curiosity and spontaneity. So, change up your rhythms, change up your routines. The fifth house is also dating, so if you are in that scene, maybe this is going to be about opening your perspectives to someone that normally wouldn't catch your interest or tickle your fancy, so to speak. So it is about being open, experimental, and curious. Try new things, avoid the tried and true. So if you're kind of stuck in a little bit of monotony there, do switch it up. This is a 7 year cycle. So, as I said, you've had a taste between July and November. From April, you're going to have it for the rest of this decade and beyond. So, this is going to be an evolving process of change. But because Uranus really settles in this space in 2026, that's when it's okay, it's here now. Here's the thing. You might have got some inklings or, ideas about that stuff in 2025. July and November are going to be key months for you to maybe take a risk, healthy risk that can really transform your life. Now, adventure. So, adventure is always a fun thing. And in 2026, I think this will probably be a topic that you might prefer to keep a little closer to home. Reason being is that your ninth travel sector, the big travel, overseas travel, foreign destinations, is rather quiet. I mean, you might want to go back to somewhere you've been before when Venus retrogrades later in the year, but for the most part, you're probably going to have more interest in keeping things closer to home. This might mean in your own city, in your own state, or in your own country, as opposed to big big trips. I mean, they're not out of the question, but when your ruler Saturn is in the third house, you're probably going to want to feel this more consolidating energy closer to home. So Saturn's going to move there for 2 years from February 14 and will stay there till April of 2028. So you might prefer weekend getaways, staycations, day trips, things of that nature, rather than big logistical moves and long distance holidays. You might want to focus on a teaching, writing, or even a study goal, with the third house being very closely associated with learning, schooling, and things of that nature. Saturn is a planet of commitment, so you might want to commit to something in this area, maybe a topic of interest that piqued your curiosity, particularly between May of 2025 and October, or was it September? The planets have been crazy in 2025, but something may have really piqued your interest in 2025, and now in 2026, you really want to commit to it and take it to the next level. For some, it might be starting to write a book, a movie script, commit to the dream, whatever the case may be, because Neptune too is going to make that energy just a little bit more magical, especially in February when Saturn and Neptune make a very, very rare pairing at 0 Aries, the very first sign of the zodiac. So there is something about this that's going to really change the landscape of everything to do with the third house for you. So the writing, the teaching, the learning. And one of my favorite ways to look at the third house, because sometimes it can be seen as a little mundane and the day to day, but it's how do we infuse magic and meaning into the day to day, and what's the difference between a routine and a ritual? It's just a routine with meaning. Okay. So maybe it's bringing that area or that focus into your life as well. So I'm always excited for a third house transit, to be honest. Now, if you have birthdays, so if you are actually an Aquarian, the 22nd to the 25th of January, and this also overlays with Neptune, you're going to have a Pluto conjunction the Sun, that they're going to come together, and Neptune will form the sextile. So as far as Neptune's concerned, this one is most definitely going to be felt the most intensely. So it is going to be an intense year. And it's about knowing yourself through revealing yourself. So taking off the layers of your being, like onion skin, and you'll discover who you really are. And as you get truer to the core of who you are, you also understand some of the subcurrents in your life, as you know, who's in charge, who's holding the cards in your life. Is it you? Is it somebody else? Is it something else? And so it's a really potent year where you really get to understand who you are. So there might be a little bit of a phase where you feel like you're going underground or just holding your energy, cocooning it a little bit. Neptune will inspire the creative, the mythical, and the magical. The intangibilities of life might start to become more important, and spirituality and revealing the meaning of life may become more important too with that combination of Pluto. 25th of January, I think it's the 25th because I can't read my own writing. Um, Let me see, 22nd, sorry, so it's 22nd of January to the 16th of March. This is an exciting one. You're going to have Jupiter opposing your sun. So this is definitely go big or go home energy. So a lot of your growth, Jupiter, is going to come through your opposite sign, which is also through relationships. So this is about seeking growth through other people, seeking growth through experiences, seeking growth through learning as well. So a bit of a risky year in the sense that you've got to stretch beyond a comfort zone. You've got to put in extra effort, open your heart, maybe let love in, and relationships will be a blossoming for you through, you might also feel that you need to just grab life with both hands. There's this sense that if I just go a little bit further, that stretching from Jupiter, you can actually gain a lot of benefit, blessings, and rewards out of that. You might also gain a little bit of recognition from some of the efforts you've already made. So if you like these kinds of videos and you found this one particularly helpful and inspiring, which I certainly hope you have, the Golden Circle, which is my astrology membership, is where I do this kind of thing every month. You get a series of videos that guides you through all of the astrology of a said month in great detail. So you can join at any time, leave at any time. It's my community. You also get access to a lot of different offers, new moon calls, and lots of opportunities to ask questions of me, of other members, and just have that supportive community to help you grow in astrology as well. Of course, readings are available if you want to really dive into your own personal chart and see how the astrology of 2026 is shaping up for you. And of course, on the 10th of December of this year, 2025, my Contemporary Astrology Program starts. The registration's open, so if you've been curious about learning astrology, getting started about understanding the planets, so maybe you can read charts for other people at a professional level, or maybe you just want to understand yourself and the people around you better, then this course is going to really help you do all of that. So if you want to explore any of those offerings, the links for each of those will be in the description box below. And again, I hope you found this video useful and helpful and got a few key dates to help guide you through the upcoming year.